Okay, так, 1, 2, 3, sound is here. Так, so today breaking down perspective of Demizu Posuka. Так, so let's see. So first I will make this kind of like a drawing perspective grids over it, so you can see right on a reference, and then I will redraw, like draw from scratch. Так, so here I choose some types, right? So I like this one, very cool, kind of architecture in a book. Then we have this like 5-point perspective type. Then we have down shots, and this kind of like, I'm sure this is based on a live camera. Like I draw before same like for a video from live camera in Tokyo. So it looks exactly like this. This kind of camera angle here. Так. So let's take these two first. Так. Let me check. It's all here. Так. So I always tell this like plan for learning perspective. It's kind of like, it's different from everybody else you will find, because you know I just don't want to repeat same stuff. Like I think everybody see everywhere already this basic idea of like, or you learn this like 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and then you don't know what to do with this, right? So I have just 2 videos about perspective basics. In these 2 videos explaining you perspective grids and intuitive perspective. So what you need to understand how perspective grids work, and then just 2-step, right? So first understand perspective grids, and then go and break down your favorite artist. Like look how they using perspective in their art. Okay, so and so perspective, right? Perspective grids is just about 3 axes: Y, Z, and X, right? You can like, in one picture can be more than one set. Okay, so this is like one set. It represents 3D space, which also important to understand. 3D space is like a box. Okay, so when you outside of 3D space, you see box, right? So it's like you see form box made also from XYZ. It has this Y edges, have Z, and it have X. Okay, and space is like when you inside this box, and you can be inside this box like, you know, like super tiny ant, and the space all around you, and you don't see where sides of this box. Like if, for example, like each wall of this box is about like 1000 kilometers far from you, you just can't see it, right? So but you will see Y, Z, and X. So you will kind of perceive this like 3 dimensionality. You will see kind of like direction of this axis. Okay, So, and this what we're looking when we study like photo reference or our other artist reference. We're looking for this axis because, and you can consider it both as like you kind of looking for lines for axis and kind of this box logic. So like here, for example, we can see like these buildings, right? They're clearly like a boxes, right? So what we have here is like this curved surface, and on this curved surface is boxes like kind of glued to it. So they can be like glued in a different direction, kind of like if we have I have this tutorial about drawing roads, right? So imagine like you have road like ribbon, and if you draw car on a road, car kind of will repeat angle of ground, right? So it's like here car will be tilted this way, here car tilted other way, right? So it's still box. So then each car you can make like microcosm of 3D space. You can like break down each car into XYZ perspective grid. See? So I'm looking here, so here like some element of it, some like buildings, they tilted, like this building here tilted. So one way you can break it down is just imagine you drawing this architecture as a bunch of boxes, right? And which bunch of boxes which bottoms are glued to this curved page, this curved surface. Okay, and when you draw these boxes, you see, so this is the axis of this surface. This is x axis of this surface. So it's kind of like curvilinear perspective grid, but it's curvilinear not because lens distortion. It's not because it's kind of like fisheye effect. It's curvilinear because you just have curved surface. So it's kind of interesting detail here, interesting nuance. So it's actual like physical property, it's not optical illusion. So you see, you can see this surface as grid, and so what we have z and x, right? And now like when you draw each box, it's kind of you erecting this y-axis for each building. So you kind of like can create perspective grid for curved page. You see what I mean? So instead of having this like rigid idea of perspective types, you being flexible and you understand how to use XYZ principle. Because this perspective don't have name, right? It's just, you just discover new type of perspective, let's say, right? So you just so you have again. So with this breakdown kind of, right, you can now draw your own picture. You can draw whatever you want. You can draw here's like New York buildings, like going up from page. So we have this again, you see Z, X and Y. So what you're solving, what problem you're solving here with perspective grid? You're making it three-dimensional, right? So you kind of ask yourself, like, is this will look three-dimensional? Yes, definitely. Okay, so this is your grid here. And then you draw so control some. Like kind of road. Here's some 7-Eleven. So it's kind of like also a great feature of having this like iterative approach and understand techniques is like with perspective grid you realize how drawing became kind of like a funny puzzle. So it doesn't feel like frustrating or overwhelming anymore. It just feels like just connecting dots. You see, like I feel it as actual 3D space. So once I see grid, I don't struggle anymore with the space. Now I just like, it feels for me like I'm really like put some volumetric forms in a space. Like if I'm playing with the bricks. Okay, so you can draw whatever environment you want. And maybe there's like, I don't know, like Spider-Man. So like, yeah. Stuff like that. Okay, it's clear. Так. So, and if look what she did here, right? So you can see, like, if literally in her drawing, yeah, you see this y-axis for buildings go like this. Z-axis kind of along with the book form. And X-axis kind of for buildings make like this. So same here kind of. Okay. Так, let's go other type. So this like 5-point perspective. Cat, I'm busy. Так. So it's like one point with a curvature, and actually is like also like 5-point perspective grid. So let's say so it's like we have the vanishing point, then we have horizon line here, and we have y point above, y vanishing point below. So then y-axis going through the vanishing point. Так, don't know, can you hear me? Так. And also y-axis going through x vanishing point. X here. Okay. So in picture itself, sometimes, so it can be not include like whole grid. So like here, let's see. Yeah, like here is kind of taken like this part of perspective grid. So we don't see y and x vanishing points inside. So let's check. Check. So here. Yeah, so this y-axis. Same here. Kind of this. Z. So Z is this will be going on depth line, right? So it's kind of like here, right in her eye. Так, and here we see these lines on the floor. It's like above her head here. Okay. And X. So we see X is this. So here it's already we see a little mistake from artist, because if z vanishing point is here, so x curvature here should go kind of this, you know, so can't have this straight line. So it's kind of mistake which I was talking about all the time. Sometimes these mistakes can be kind of deliberate. So our artist might say, okay, like I know it should be, it must curve this way, but for my composition I want it to be horizontal, I want it to be straight, because in the real world, you know, might be this situation when it's some maybe it's like a not perfect box, right? It's like not all environment should be like a standard kind of, or also symmetrical. Sometimes like buildings are weird and stuff. So anyway, artists have this like full control, and he can say like, I don't want it follow rules. I want kind of like here to have this shape, for example, and I want like this map to be like this. So this part she make like not follow and perspective grid. So something like which you notice when you start to break down master artist, right? And like it's a lot. It's all of them basically, all of them breaking rules. So just kind of like keep it in mind, because like beginner artists, they always have this often, this kind of perfectionistic idea when they think master work, it means by default every basics should be perfect, right? So it's like perspective must be perfect, anatomy must be perfect, like everything must be like on a high level, when in reality you see like top master works doing like super basic mistakes. They kind of doing mistakes on a level like in your art college you will be they will just write you like F for this work, because like it's super basic rules and they like mess up with them, all the time. Some very, very simple things they might do wrong, and sometimes it's an honest mistake. Sometimes, like most of all, is more about like deliberate choice, but sometimes it's real mistake just because they draw in so many complex stuff, and your brain just get tired, and you can make like some stupid mistakes, and this work get published. This work with mistakes have art collectors. This what is real world. Don't kind of don't be delusional thinking like somebody care about you making it all perfect. It's not important, perfect or not. So here we have interesting case on the right picture. Sometimes it's like when you break down a photograph or artwork, you don't have full picture. So I don't have like 3D model of this environment, so I don't know exactly what is the form of it. So like this thing here, it look like close to circle. So in case if this thing is close to circle, I mean if it's kind of circle, right? So then this circle, it's important to understand is not kind of element of 5-point perspective grid. Instead, I will show you how you find this circle. Instead, so you should find where is x-axis here, which is not easy because everything here like distorted, and you kind of need to make some guess because you're not sure like this can be curved, right? So what is here actually have 90-degree angle. So, and I just making a guess, so because this z vanishing point should be like horizon line, so it will be like straight. So I will do kind of this. So let's say okay, let's take like this, some kind of okay. So here it will be like x-axis. So and what how to draw circle here is like how you draw circle in 1 point perspective. So you have square in perspective and then you draw circle in a square. Only here we have a curved perspective grid, right? So we have this like the vanishing point, the axis, x-axis kind of curved like this. Okay. So circle will be within this square. So так. So it's like here we have z, here we have z. Then here is x. So it's kind of square in 5-point grid around this circle. And there's kind of like in 1-point perspective, you draw an ellipse, you draw a circle inside the square. Okay, so let's say it's like same if you want to draw circle here, right? So it's like you find square and you draw a circle. Так. So it's kind of like what I mean is like if it's like a structure, circular structure, then you can treat it this way, right? Like just like draw ellipse within square, for which at first you need to have this xyz. Так. Or if like space itself is tubular, like you know, it's kind of like no, I have tutorials before about this. So let's say we have this horizon line and all this space is like a tube and character inside this tube, right? So we see this like top of this tube. So what we have kind of, we can make like a tubular perspective grid, just because whole space is tube, so definitely makes sense to break it down to this. So you can make it like this. So it will be like this tubular x-axis, and then you also project it down. So let's say she's kind of like standing inside this tube. So in this tube also you can show like vertical. Okay. And then so she see like from within tube, she see outside there's some skies and stuff. So, but because here is only one element, then you just drawing it as ellipse instead of making whole grid. Так. Hello pen, tab graphite. Так. So then we have down shots. So this, let's see. Down. Так. So we'll look for y axis. Kind of make your investigation. So what I need to find is we have vanishing point within or not. So it's kind of like about here, but again have some mistakes, which is normal. So this kind of like mistakes, they're normal, but they also something what makes our like artworks of humans more relatable to humans, because if they're like perfectly clean, you know, it's like you always can see, at least me, I can see, I think everybody can see when it's a 3D model converted into graphic, right? So it's like it look like ink drawing, so it's just like black lines, some gray shading, but everything perfect, like every line's perfect, all perspective is perfect, and it just look dead, you know, it's look dead. So when we draw physically, when we draw freehand perspective, and we have all this kind of like wobble, like little odd go here, little wrong goes there, it creates this airy feeling. It's kind of creates this like pulsation, kind of, I don't know, it just feels more alive, more like a human made, you know, not so kind of like a cage, just так. So okay, so let me show here. So this done shot, so it can be like y vanishing point nadir within frame, or we can have y vanishing point outside of frame. So if we have outside, we're just drawing two lines first, pointing towards y vanishing point. So it's like say, okay, y vanishing point outside there. First you're showing is there, right? And then you kind of like subdivide it. Okay, now you see you have like kind of equal. I just eyeballing it. I don't need to measure it precise. Just make it look like you're dividing it in half, and then again you divide it in half, and then again you can divide as many as you want. Okay, very easy, right? Just like half, 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 half. Don't need a ruler, don't need anything, just like this. So one way you have point, so it's easy because you just draw lines to this point. Other way, you draw two lines pointing to outside, so they kind of like one direction, but from different angle, right? So have like one from this side, one from this, but they towards one direction, and then you subdivide. So it's y-axis, and then we draw like perpendicular z and x. So, and you can play around just to see how many variations you can have from this type of perspective, because you can like turn around, you can move a y vanishing point around, you can turn around this x and z. This important, you know, because if you're doing this stuff, if you experiment and explore, you need to do it with your hand. You need to see it with your own eyes, like what you do, right? Like you need this experience of your hand and your eyes doing it. This is how you learn. If you just see like me drawing, if you just look books and something, you have like very little experience. You don't learn much. You will only learn when you have like your own hands, even if you just repeat after me, but it's your own hands drawing it, and your own eyes look and see like your hands doing it, you know. This is how you implement this knowledge. This is how you build this perspective experience. It's all this is like freaking easy, you know. It's like, I'm so tired to say it's easy as it looks. You think it's easy because I do it? No, it's easy because it's really easy. And if you will do what I say, it will be easy for you. Problem is just like nobody doing this. They watching this, and I'm still like, okay, I want to draw like Jim Bond. I just sit and start to draw, and like, I don't know how to do. To draw like me or like other artists like you love with their perspective, you need to do the simple steps. You can do you can make like serious level work without this practice, kind of without this mileage. Okay, right? You just need to show your eye and hand. You need to play around with this stuff, with these elements, so your brain kind of say like, so I can move it here, I can move it there. And now you learn to control perspective, okay, from your with your hands, because like you move it here, you move it there, okay, you did this stuff, and after when you draw, it really feels like you have full control. That's it. It's like, it's very easy to do, it's very easy to learn. You just need to do it. Like you see people like keep watching, like drawing like 5 picture in a year or in a month, and after ask me like, where is horizon line, like how do you know? It's like, what the hell, like I from this kind of basic questions I can say you like you'll never draw in your life. Just draw and you will understand everything you need. But if you don't draw and you try to like kind of sit and just like watching me like Netflix, you will never learn. Just forget about this. If you freaking lazy, art is not for you. Just so stop pretending like you want to be artist. So and then so X is like perpendicular to Z, right? So it's mean if X go in there, Z go in there, so they will have like 90 degree. And sometimes they can be also convergent, so then it will be like this type of perspective, right? So let's say like I show with Y, for example, right? So okay, there it's pointing towards Y vanishing point. Subdivide, and then from left I also, okay, pointing towards Y vanishing point. Subdivide, etc. Right? Then I will say, okay, where is Z? And I say, like Z will be like this. So you see now Z convergent too. Not parallel lines, but also convergent. So it's showing towards vanishing point outside of perspective grid, and again I subdivide. Так. And then X also. Op. Okay, so it's like we have all of them converging, and it's still like X and Z, they're perpendicular to each other, but because convergent, this 90 degree can look like this, kind of like more, can look like a sharp or not like 90 degree kind of, you see. It's just because it's in perspective. Так, let's see comments. Так. Yes, thank you, pen. Top graphite. Yeah, write more stuff in the chat. Don't be shy. So yeah, so if we look here, we have this is Z, right? So when you look picture, you find this like parallel, like showing depth toward one direction. Don't be confused if it's not perfect in a reference, because like just take out this idea that it's perfect. It's not perfect. Sometimes it's mistake. So that's why you need to know perspective grids. So when you know this how Z should behave, you will be not confused if your favorite artist make it little wrong. And sometimes also you will think he make it wrong, but actually you don't understand his perspective. So yeah, sometimes it's confusing, and only your experience will help you with seeing it clearly, you know. So keep trying. Don't think you should understand everything from first attempt. Так, so X kind of going here. And yeah, like I was already showing, Y kind of, oh, let's make it like this, right? So it's pointing outside. So these are Y-axis. Same here. So it's like interior and exterior, but perspective kind of same type perspective. Так, let's see, like this is Y. See, some divide pointing towards. Так. So let's say Z, so like I was showing. So here, like some buildings, they like rotating towards different direction. But here, some group of buildings, they have same, they parallel to each other, right? So it means like this Z and this building Z, they're like same. So I can make a grid. So if I see couple buildings, or like I try to find like most objects have same perspective, and from this like most applied kind of perspective, I will do one perspective grid. So because it's again, you see this instead of building like this 20 vanishing points, you better start with one set. Just make sure you establish one set of perspective, XYZ, and then if there is like a couple buildings not following this grid, you just rotate them. Like you draw them as an exception within your grid. Okay, so in here again we have like Z conversion, I subdivide, and here above I kind of draw like towards direction. Here's like towards Z vanishing point. Так. So, and this X also kind of converging like this. Так. Okay, yeah, also want to show you. So yeah, we have this grid, and let's say there is like this building here not following this grid, so it have its other X and other Z for this building, but it have a same Y-axis. So this is what happened like when you once you have one perspective grid for all picture, it's like a space. You establish space. Like here, right? I sit in my house, like inside my house and outside in the street. It's the same space. We don't have like different sky and bottom. We have same ground, same sky, kind of same orientation. But then within this space, some objects can be rotated like this, right? Or maybe it's some like heel, and then some object will be rotated like this. Or maybe it's some like dog running and jumping, so it will have like different rotation in a space, right? So it will have different XYZ totally, because it's just like making like random acrobatics. So it's kind of like woohoo. Totally jumping kind of. So it's exception within space. So treat it this way. And like I say, you know, once you have perspective grid, you have feeling of 3D space and 3D form, and it's became like if you're really manipulate some material forms. This kind of what it gives to you. Так, let's go this type. Okay, so it's also kind of down shots. Так, like this. Whoop. So this так. Same like in the previous picture. So we have like one Y point outside, and this kind of like here is a little sloppy, which okay, just what you need to see your favorite artist, not superhumans. We see like here this Y going to another point. So here it goes there, here it goes there, here it goes. So it's just mistake. That's it. Here it goes there. So what you should do, of course, you don't need to kind of copy mistakes. You just recognize them. But when you study from your favorite artwork, and you know perspective grids, which again I tell you, go and watch my free video before I make it not free. Okay, now you have chance, watch it for free. After maybe I will angry say like, okay, go watch your Proco and stuff, and I will delete my channel, you know. So use this opportunity and watch my videos before I delete all them. Так, so when you make your own choice, you say like, okay, so he showed me Y axis here, so I can make it like Y vanishing point here, or I can make it like this, right? So I choose which perspective I want to study. So, and I think this one make more sense. So I will ignore this mistake here. So copying, kind of studying his picture, I will use this grid. Okay. Which I also might do like little, not perfect, not big deal. Так. And then we look Z. Same Z. Okay, he make it a little like curved. Making it curved. So here's like straight line. Up. Up. So it's kind of like horizon line is here. So as you go like this. Так. X. Go like this. Так, so let's see. Так. So this here we have perspective in the mug. Yeah, and again it's kind of this building going to this vanishing point, this building going to this vanishing point. So again it's like you might like lost in it, but then it's okay, who maybe like these buildings they don't have like parallel walls, maybe these buildings have this kind of walls, not sure, right? Like I say, I don't see like 3D image of this drawing, so instead I'll just say okay, this kind of situation is remind me typical case of downshot with isometry, or maybe like 3-point perspective case. Так, so let's see. And you, instead of like copying everything and trying to follow what you don't understand, так, так. You just make perspective which is match this case. So like I say, will be like kind of like this, convergent y-axis for downshot, like this, right? We have convergent y, and then so yeah, okay, this kind of interesting case. So let me see, can play around with this. So can be two solutions, for example. So one solution, like I said before, you just see if you want to make one unified perspective grid, which is very convenient. So for example, here you make this convergent y-axis, and you're looking at this building and this building, for example, and you decide to make this z-axis. So let's say like this. So it's like security camera perspective, and then you look for x, and let's say you decide make this unified grid. So here is like x like this. Other option you have, say you have like y-axis, but buildings each building you draw like a rotated box which is just following y-axis. Так. So they each of them kind of like might have totally different x and z, but they share same y-axis. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. In this case you have unifying grid. Or you draw random rotation but with the same y-axis. Так. So, and same kind of case with the perspective on the right. So we have y converging downwards. But it's kind of like it look like kind of like little sloppy perspective here on this one. So it's better to make it I feel like more proper will be here if it will be like curved horizon line perspective grid. So say like this. Так. Так, so. Kind of this. So here is kind of grid for this environment when dude himself, he kind of like in his own x and z perspective, so it's more like you looking like what his perspective is box. Wait. And this lamp also kind of like a box. And again, some Spider-Man flying here. Hello to be you. Так, okay. So now can draw in Clip Studio. Так, how to close this?
Madness. This is Jane Bond art.
Так. So let's say have this picture. Так, I always forget about this. Так, anyway. Так. Okay, so here we can consider like two perspective systems. So it's like two space, right? Because like one space, it's where this girl, like her room, so she sit in this room, have like reading this book. Так. So say for her will be this. y axis. Z axis. And x axis for a space of this girl, right? But then, so we have this book. And we want to draw is like 3D forms from these book pages, right? So they're kind of like aligned with the book pages. So, and it's have kind of its own surface, first of all. So it means so each page is like its own perspective grid. So Z and X. And then because you see, because y perpendicular to z and perpendicular to x, right? So let's say this z and y 90 degree, right? So along z all y will be like this. So it's kind of this buildings and stuff, right? But if we have the curving like this, so okay, maybe I make two examples. So we have z curved like this. So in one case, when we have like city environment, right, and buildings, no matter what surface curvature goes, buildings will be always perfectly vertical, because if it will be not vertical, it can fall down, right? So in a city environment, we see in the real world kind of that vertical y-axis of buildings, they're ignoring curvature of ground, but still we see this, right? We see this like as declines or uphill, downhill, kind of next to building. But if you have like a car riding, right? So like, let's say truck here. Yeah, truck. will follow curvature of a ground or bicycle. So it's still real actual 3D space. It's still actual 3D surface, okay? And it's it's also perspective. It's about perspective. So, and then if it's some kind of like here, I think it will be fun to play around with this principle that, let's say, like you can put book page flat like this, right? So in buildings will be vertical. Or if you bend it, if you hold book page bent, so it's curved kind of like this, right? So, and each building will also curve, so kind of like this 90-degree, like for each point, for each line it will be 90-degree, but full picture we see as like this y-axis pointing towards different directions. So same here, like you have curved surface, and you can kind of establish this. So for each page, you can do it for each page, you know. So say so just be careful. It's kind of like spikes going out from page, like needles, right? Like this. So they're just like became more complex because some overlap. You see what I mean? It's like kind of like a pole rising from page. Так. And then you can draw whatever you want. So let's see. It's gonna be like your fantasy building. Maybe some street. And here already can start like overlapping with this page. So here's like gas station. Yeah, write me if you have requests for next artist who you want me to break down, or if you have questions for this artist or about this artist, something. Bronson, okay, we'll check what's this. So it's some kind of here will be like this. Okay, we'll check. Hokuto no Ken. Okay. You know, like anyway, I will never properly spell anything Japanese. It's like Slavic names, you know, like people who is not native, they just can't spell them properly, no matter. Like I have like my Russian name Evgeny, alright? Evgeny. So nobody can say it properly. It's just impossible. So I say Eugenie, Evgeny, Genie, like whatever. Like I say, okay, I just change it for Jean. I think Jean is more easy to say, so I don't want people suffer. Or surnames also kind of, they have some kind of sound you just cannot recreate if you are not native speaker. There is no like a substitution. You need to train your tongue for it, and of course we don't have like infinity to practice every language. Yeah. No, you know, it's just like usually people feel kind of uncomfortable, like if they not sure how to say your name properly. So, and it's kind of inconvenient, because like it's a harder remember your name if you can't spell it easily. It's also kind of barrier in communication because people like they want to speak to you but they're not sure how to say your name, so they're like, ah, okay, I don't want kind of this kind of frustrating experience. But now everybody can rejoice, jumping and screaming, Gene Bond, oh yeah. We're so happy we can say your name, you know. Yes, now like people can say my name non-stop. Just say my name. Or maybe I better choose Heisenberg. Anyway, Russia was already joking about Bond. It's kind of James Bond is famous, of course. Dun 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 dun. Golden night. Dun 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 dun. Так. T2 is like Terminator 2. What's this T2? I don't remember story of Golden Eye. I just like this song. Wait, so here. You never know how to draw in perspective 5 and 6 points. If you didn't watch Gene Bond art, you never know. Secrets of a curved horizon line. Так, so and I like this like old time James Bond. It's like brutal and like, let's see, like shameless masculinity, I can say. It's like womanizer super agent. not like this, like Daniel Craig, James Bond, some kind of victimized super agent with psychological issues. It's like, oh, I feel so guilty for my masculinity. Oh. Oh, cool. Так, so here's kind of, so we still can draw some under this page, some environment. What can be, like maybe a car. Yeah, let's draw a car moving. There's like kind of bushes. Tonight I have a funny dream. I was like driving car and I want to change a line and I see police car kind of turning. It's kind of like following me. And I look down on the road and it's like, oh my god, I almost crossed double line. So like in the last second I turn wheel and like driving alone and cross line when it was kind of this broken line. It's kind of funny dream. Almost got a ticket in my dream for crossing double line. But in my previous dream, like one night before, I was robbing jewelry store, but actually I wasn't robbing it. I had some guys who been kind of talking me into this. It's some kind of like once upon a time in America, kind of, you know, it's kind of gangster atmosphere. So it's kind of like, yeah, we can take a lot of money from this shop. And this was crazy. but I didn't do it. I was just saying it's kind of weird. It's like it sounds too easy, and then kind of run away, chicken out. And other guy, he also chicken out. He was just standing looking like how third guy robbing jewelry store, and crowd on the street start to gather, and I think like, okay, it's a lot of police here. So I run away, and I feel like police is already like searching for me. It was this kind of like Dostoevsky dream. Yeah, interesting. I don't remember I drawing any dreams. Yeah, like right now I can't remember I've been ever drawing any dreams. So it's like I all my life I never had dream of being in a space. Like write me somebody, like have you ever see a dream how you like somewhere like in a space station or in an open space? For some reason I never had this, like have like very crazy surreal fantastic dreams, but never in a space. Until one night I have a dream when I was literally, you know, it's like if my brain like trying to say like, okay, you want to dream in a space, let's go to space. So in my dream I was in a spaceship crew, like in a rocket. Our rocket's kind of like flying to space, literally. So technically I was first time in a space in my dream, but not a very long time. So it was just like kind of, you know, maybe it was not open space, or maybe it was like this Virgin program or Amazon, you know, when they just kind of in a high orbit flying around planet. So maybe it's kind of was cheap trick from my brain selling me space when it was just lifting me very high in the sky. Yeah, like falling down is it's a usual dream when you fall down, like fall down or being hit by a train, something like this. It's kind of like typical, like not typical, like regular dream. From time to time we have something like this. Так. But about lucid dreams, I have a couple times I have lucid dreams. Still, I kind of like don't know what to do with it. It's like, you know, all information about this usually it's from some kind of weird new age kind of esoterical stuff, like they're like talking about all this stuff. I just don't believe it, you know. I mean, this because these people they're not trustworthy. And from my experience, okay, yeah, it was fun, it was interesting. But I don't believe it's something like kind of like can really like improve your life or make you genius. It's just one of many interesting experience you can make for yourself, you know. It's like For example, like you can travel other country to see some environment, or you can play around with your brain in a lucid dream, so it's some kind of new experience. And actually go to different country is more information for you, I think, because it's literally new information. But it was like really exciting. It really feels like you're super how's this word? You're like extremely excited when you have a lucid dream. So when I was like conscious in my dream, I was just like, wait a second, I am sleeping kind of, and I start like looking around, and it's like, you feel it, everything you feel like super strongly and like profound, like you can feel it with your body, it's like kind of swimming through space. You feel everything, and like picture very sharp, colors very strong. And I was just like looking around, and it's like one dream I was in some kind of fantasy city. It just like looks so fantastic. It's like many levels, like city on the hill, and I was like with the gardens. I was walking around, like looking people around. It was just like super bright, super happy dream. Then I have other dream when I was like walking on a street, and some dude approached me, say like, hey, what he say? He say like, you can tell me something about my mind. It was crazy. It was super crazy. It's like, you never seen anything like this in your life. So we go, like, it was some kind of like yoga group, but we was sitting on the mats, and like kind of close eyes, and dude like say like, okay, look in your mind, kind of like, now try to see this, now try to see that, something like this, in my dream, so in my dream I was there. And then it's like poof, something explode kind of in my head, and I don't, it's like I start to see code, or like kind of like a matrix of my own self, like kind of like some kind of like a program code, like, and like, what the hell is that? It was crazy. Yeah, and so, and when I start to see this, it was like, it was really like kind of like if some kind of like antivirus program scanning me, like in this moment I awake inside dream, and it's like, kind of, what the hell is happening, and kind of like really like scanning myself, seeing all these crazy visuals, and I like in a dream, like then I'm looking at this guy, like, say, what was this about? It's like I never seen anything like this before. So I was already awake inside dream. So, and the dude say like, yeah, everything fine. Like, we just check your brain, everything seems okay. Like, don't worry, just keep going. Like, and I go in the street. And some kind of crazy stuff start happening in the street. Kind of like I can make a story, like comic book story about this, because it's suddenly it became some conspiracy type of story, like there is a spiritual war, and I didn't was aware of it, but because I was involved with this guy, now some agents start to hunting me. So and this guy he say like, don't tell anyone about this, but immediately I just walk out from this place, some gypsy woman approaching me, and she just like started talking to me, kind of like what it was like. So it was so weird. She like started asking me about something. I was answer to her, and I realized the more I talk to her, more I forgetting who I am. And then I wake up, kind of. It's very interesting. I mean, it's like I admire brain like for generating all this. It's just incredible. I wish I can just. I wish I can consciously like create such stories when I want. Just like sit and make this kind of like characters. Так. And basically this is what I'm working on, and how to match my dreams in my storytelling when I make comics. So I already like I have this I already catch this flow, like I know how to get this like genuine flow of a story when like you really find vivid characters who really like not constructed. They're not just like being some kind of artificial, but they really you really feel that they're real. I think this is very important. So like characters must be real, their story must be real, to degree like for you it feels like you didn't make them, you discover them. But then what I struggle currently, like I'm working with, it's I want a story to have like solid plot, and this require like kind of knowledge and experience working with plot structure. You know, it's like a lot of details, like manage all these different characters together so they kind of telling same story together from different angles, something like this. I don't want it to be like final result as some abstract так, look, her hand look like adult hand. Art house kind of like I don't like art house. it's in our art house, like it's two reason why people make art house movies or whatever. Is like if it's good, is like creator have really some mental issues, so he can't manage to make like solid work, and he's just doing his best, and he very talented, but because he have some kind of issues with his mind, let's say, work look his final work look kind of disconnected, and you know, which still might be good, but is not like solid work. And second reason is just laziness, because you know, put all this structure together to create like arc plot. It's a lot of work. It's like it's really is like it's kind of like make a statue. You can make, you know, some kind of crude abstract sculpture of human figures, say like, look, it's my style. And then if you want to make like a Michelangelo kind of sculpture level, oh my god, it's like it's so amazing amount of work, like how much you need to, like how much you need to train to be able to do like this, and how much refinement it requires. So так. Yeah, I like this idea from with a book from Demizu Posuka. Yeah, that's my right name. Demizu Posuka. A very cool idea. Так. Okay, so now we have like some stuff on the table. Yeah, okay, so there might be, yeah, like other books. Some pencil. some shadow. Coffee. Так. So let's see. Scar kind of riding in the night. Так. Run through the night. Так. Let's try like this. Oh, can make it darker here. Так. Anyway, kind of this. Так. Так. Okay, anyway, don't go much further than this. To show you principle here. Так. How much? 2 hours. So let's use this. So also like picture like this. Let's try to make it here. Whoop. It's have a lot of, it's kind of like have a lot of distortions, and many of them just some composition choices, so it's make it harder to see clear perspective, you know. So just imagine like when you draw, that's why also important to have your own experience of drawing stuff and perspective, so you can like better understand like how it works for other artists, right? So imagine like you consider certain perspective for your picture, and then you start to feel it with elements of composition elements, kind of all these characters, buildings, and you realize to show it in a way you want to show it, you need to distort perspective here and there, and or sometimes like you just get overwhelmed and you might just really make some mistake and draw some objects out of perspective. So eventually you have this work where a lot of details, they not match with perspective you originally have, and all it's kind of what you did is just make sure nobody notice it. But then when you as artist start to break it down, you might be like super confused. So it's kind of this case with this picture here. It's like, yeah, it's definitely have some perspective here. It's like a 5-point perspective, and this like some rotation in this 5-point perspective. But also a lot of here is just when artists just go freehand and more focus on composition, ignoring perspective. Okay.
Madness.
Whoa. Madness.
This is Jane Bond art.
It was accidental. So what is clear here is kind of we have this main Z vanishing point in the center. Horizon line. and y-axis. Go like this. Так, then when it's kind of like start being difficult with this, because like there have this kind of bridge, right, going like this and start turning. So it's like if this platform here is a cylinder, kind of, so, and this like platform on which character standing, it's kind of this round going like this, you see. So, and it means like in this case this curve surface is not a 5-point perspective, it's like a circle in 5-point perspective. So we'll show you. So this we have right now z and y axis. Now we need x axis. So let's say like this. So it's look like center part of a 5-point perspective grid. Okay. And then we say, okay, look like this kind of like a round platform. So I just and imagine like if it's square in this 5-point perspective, right? So, and we draw circle inside this square in a 5-point perspective. Kind of like this. And same is like this two roads, they also kind of making, they like wrapping around circle. So let's say again kind of we have square. So you see what I mean here, it's important to distinct this you see curve lines in a picture, right? You need to understand which curvature represent axis of perspective grid and which curvature is like edge or form of an object in this space. So let's say we have this. Whoa. We kind of this. Okay, so here we have these two ellipses. Так. Now we can draw all other stuff. So there's like a pillar. So exercise like this, you see, it should be kind of fun because you not just make an exercise, but you experience artwork of your favorite artist on a deeper level. You know, so it's like appreciating your favorite artwork, but looking much closer than average viewer. You know, because usually it's like you look and say, oh, nice, cool work, you know. But when you break it down like this, when you redraw it, and you redraw it not just like line by line kind of, but reconstruct, you see. So here I'm reconstructor, so I know result will not look exactly same. This is not what I need. I need learn some principles and techniques which will allow me to draw similar type of work. Okay, so this is kind of, it's very different goal. You are not practice accuracy. You're like, it's not like your goal to become like a copy machine, right? But you want to learn, understand better principles based on which your favorite artist creates their work. And a lot of here is like you will guess, you will not sure, but more you try, more sharp you became, more like better you can read perspective, better like and faster, and you will do it faster, you know. So it's kind of like you train it like perspective IQ, which is like more important than just ability of drawing straight lines and connecting points. Так, so let's see. This building will go here. Yeah, it's like a study language. And it's not some cheating or whatever, it's very old and kind of every pro artist recommends this always. So it's how like always art learning, art education was actually. So you know, like when it was in the Renaissance, beginners go to art studio, right? What they did, they've been copying their master artist works. They've been learning their master techniques, and master kind of like just see how to correct them. So even like idea of these studios was as students, they've been working as assistants, so they can do all these creative steps. Like a master can delegate mechanical work to them. So eventually, you know, kind of like in a manga studio, when first of all, author of manga, he can draw everything himself, but to make it faster, he train his own assistants so they can draw environments in his style. They can draw like vehicles and stuff like in his manga, so it look like if he draw it himself. And all he leave, some of these artists, like only what they do is like drawing like character faces, and all other drawings is their assistants. You know, so this kind of copying, understanding master work, it's in the core of art education. It's always been. Так. Same kind of like a cooking. Imagine like what essentially cooking is about. It's you need to know ingredients, right? You need to know sequence. So it's like technology kind of, let's say, pipeline. And if you want to cook some like traditional dish, some dish like everybody know, so it's same as kind of like you want to learn how to draw illustration or to draw comic book, right? So it already exists. So, and instead of trying to figure out how to do it yourself, like find your own path from scratch, you go and you find a recipe. You look what ingredients they use to make this dish, and what is sequence, like what is the technology with these ingredients, so you will able to make this dish. You know, if you will just buy these ingredients, like you buy pen and ink, you know, and then you just try to invent whole process by yourself, it's kind of weird, right? Like you buy all these like ingredients for a soup, you have like exact soup in mind, but you don't know how to cook it, and you just start experimenting. Or you can just look in a cookbook. What a point to experiment here if you have like exact dish in the mind. And then once you did it couple times, you say, okay, now I want to little maybe like change something. I want to try if I will like put more tomatoes here, or I want to kind of change one ingredient, and etc. So you start to experiment, but first you you learn from cooking with a cookbook at first, or like your friend telling you like how to cook, tell you ingredients and showing you sequence. Same kind of like with visual art. So you need to learn from final work. With not like try to guess how can you make this kind of work, but look directly into it. That's why I say all the time, if your favorite artist like making interview or workshops, just find all of them, all their books, all their interview, listen everything they say. They will mention like their process, their materials, they will mention their favorite artists, their favorite books, and you research all of this, everything, all of this, because all of this will tell you something important to you about making his type of work. Hello, Sugar Sweet Sandstorm. Thank you. So, what's your comment? Would you ever do like drawing streamwear? Yeah, we can try to make like drawing, everybody drawing together. Yeah, we can do it through Gumroad. Yeah, sure, we can try. First you need to go to my Gumroad. Yeah, and then there is in Gumroad there is option like can be like video chat. So we can like, I forget always this name of platform where everybody can draw on the same canvas. So we can make kind of this one canvas and drawing. Так. So serious. Так. There is some Stairs. Yeah, so also everybody like who is in Discord now, you can also start streaming there in the video chat, like drawing and make live in Discord. And when I free, I can go inside. We can check how it works. Start to experiment. Because like there's, you know, like if you draw digitally, you can share your Clip Studio screen to Discord, for example. Or if you draw traditionally, you can use some camera and also share camera to Discord. Yeah, hello Ray Suday. Yes, thank you for feedback. Yeah, glad it helps. Так. There are also in this picture many gears. So each gear is kind of like tablet in perspective, like a very short cylinder. Cool, yeah. Yeah, I see in some Discords they doing this. Like a bunch of people can like stream their drawing process and talk. It's kind of cool opportunity in Discord. And then we can try to do it like all together. I can stream somewhere, so more people will join. Sometimes, you know, it's sometimes it helps when you like, you know, it's kind of imitates this educational environment, like when you're in an auditorium somewhere in art university and you draw, and then your teacher walking behind you kind of check like what you do, or just because you're there you feel like you need to more focus. Because like at least me, you know, it's like I'm kind of like Shaolin. When I was in art university, I go inside, okay, and I only draw, and like I don't talk with anybody about all this nonsense. No, of course, like little talk sometimes, but I really like to focus on drawing. I don't watch phone, and like I don't like to talk about the random stuff. So same kind of it works when you have camera or when you stream your drawing process. Whatever project you work, or maybe you just want to do some exercise, some daily practice, daily warm up, right? Make it like try to stream it, and because it feels like now you need to more focus. Now it's like, okay, somebody watching you draw, so it's like you're like you really try harder, you know, you really like now you need for draw for 1 hour, otherwise you will look like you're some slack and can't focus for 1 hour, right? So it's like it's really works this way sometimes, so you can try. Yeah, some kind of like a social element of this. It's like you don't want maybe, yeah, kind of like don't want to look lazy or something, you know. Especially like if you're on my channel, you talk a lot about like, yeah, drawing important, I drawing a lot, and then you making it live, your drawing process. It's like, oh my god, I was talking big so long. Now I need to really show how good am I am, at least like how much effort I put in my work. Yeah, so really kind of feeling of art community. Yeah, don't need to draw anything specific. Just don't draw anything like inappropriate, because like, you know, some healthy um, healthy stuff like yeah. And I kind of myself, I in the drawing I'm kind of like very conservative. Like I remember I've been drawing Spider-Man comic book when I was in art college. So, and I was drawing comic books I can't show to my teachers because they were like very angry and say like, comics is no real art. Why you waste your time for this, you know? So I was just drawing for myself. And then in the story it was some guy appear like character. I just made my own character and he's some kind of like a Spawn or Deadpool. And I plan to draw a scene when he's kind of like cutting people in halves, you know, like, and cut their heads off and stuff. And I realized I just can't draw this. I don't know. I mean, it's okay for me to watch sometimes, you know. It's okay, kind of this like gore comic books or movies. But I just can't draw it. It feels like really like how so kind of weird. I mean, do you really have? I don't know how can you have this incentive kind of to draw this stuff? And then also actually there is manga Gantz, and it was a funny read interview from this artist who been drawing this like crazy extreme like violence like. And he say like couple first of comic books like first like 100 pages he been drawing this like super extreme violence, all this like gore, and he say he himself felt uncomfortable. He was just like, oh my god, that's so crazy, so disgusting kind of. But then he said okay, he just get tolerated to this and he was just start drawing it casually. It was interesting insight to know that somebody like built tolerance for this. Yeah, but so I was thinking just like, should I kind of do this thing? But no, eventually I think it's just kind of cheap trick. All this like extreme violence is some kind of low level thing. Yeah, it's like if it's kind of a job in mainstream, somebody choose to kind of follow mainstream. Don't know. work for somebody. No, I just kind of choose is no interested. And now it's like also, I think like right now is not it's not special anymore. If before is I can like surprise people, it was like, oh no way, somebody really drew this, look like anatomical theater in a comic book. Now it's like everywhere. It's like it's so annoying. It's like every movie, every this like teenager stuff they put everywhere. This extreme violence, while they're kind of selling this like positivity and how they call it. You know what I mean? It's like it's like always against violence. It's like now ultimate kind of narrative, like in the Western mainstream, in this pop culture, is that violence and any kind of form of aggression is inherently evil. So all we need is just being kind, kind of. We need to totally reject violence at all. So this kind of like mainstream narrative, while they're like depicting absolutely like gore and stuff in their stories, and all this is just absurd. It's just absurd idea of abolishing violence. It's nonsense. It's absurd. It's kind of like utopian nonsense. And the way they're doing it is also kind of ridiculous. Так. See this doll face. Okay, let's just here. Так. there's some steam or smoke. Так. Так. What was this? Так, let's see. Okay, almost 3 hours, so let's finish here. If you want me draw more from Demizu Posuka, write me in the comments. I will make one more video if you want. But next time I will draw on the paper traditionally, because kind of, I don't know, I just like prefer traditional. So thank you for watching. Join Discord. Try this QR code of Discord in the corner, and yeah, push like, share, push hype button, tell everybody about this YouTube. Yeah, and I appreciate your comments when you write something. It's just nice to have communication, you know, to see real people. So see you later.